Hello, folks. It's me, Aaron. I would like to wish you all a Merry Christmas. And now that you're here, we're going to subject you to 6 hours of listening to me sing Christmas carols. Kidding. But Christmas does have an old tradition similar to Christmas carols. Groups of people would get together and they'd tell ghost stories to keep the darkness at bay. Now, I, of course, do not have a lot of ghost stories. Well, okay, I don't have a lot of ghost stories that would be short, so to speak. So instead, I thought I would give you all a fairy tale. Not just a fairy tale, but a Christmas fairy tale that was told to me by a Christmas elf. So gather the kids around and let them listen too. I promise it's a safe story. It's filled with love, happiness, and consideration. Now, this took place a long time ago, long before I was born. But I heard it from the elf herself in my 20s. Back in the Victorian era, they still made shoes naturally. They didn't have these processing plants or things. And clothers and all these places, they did their stuff by hand. And it was a labor. It was a labor that took time, money, effort, and know how. And you're probably thinking, what does this have to do with Christmas? Well, I'll tell you. Many, many, many years ago, in a small town, there was a young shoemaker. The shoemaker lived modestly and happily. He was skilled at his trade, but in the end, he wasn't amazing. But he put forth his best effort and was generally sociable, happy, one might even say. One day, a young lady walked past his shop. That young lady was different. The moment he saw her, his heart skipped a beat. And every day she would walk past his shop at the same time. Finally, 2 days before Christmas Eve, he stopped her on the street. Ma'am, I know that we haven't spoken, but I've seen you outside my shop nearly every day, and I wish that you would come in for just a moment. I I know it's uncouth, but I have something that I wish to give you. To give me? What do you mean? What should I need of you, O fine shoemaker? Why, nothing, but I still wish to nonetheless. If you would just please. So, with some degree of uncertainty, the young lady entered his shop. While she was not thoroughly impressed, I mean, she had no reason to be. She had her own shoes, she took care of herself, as any woman of the time could. But her heart was quickly changed when she saw what he pulled out from behind the desk. Madam, I have seen you pass every single day. and your beauty has inspired me to make these shoes. Please, take them, at least as a Christmas gift, if not as a token of my affections. But, good sir, I have no way to repay you. No payment is necessary. I merely wish that you would have a Merry Christmas. Then allow me to grant some wish, some kindness, for your gratitude. Then just have dinner with me. One night, that's all. Then tomorrow, it is the day before Christmas Eve, but I believe I can spare some time. And with that, the lady departed. Her footsteps were light, and she was filled with a degree of mirth. Not nearly as much mirth and happiness as the shoemaker. But, as with these stories, things aren't always so simple, even for Christmas elves. The next day, the two met for dinner. They ate, they drank late into the evening. And, as young adults are wont to do, they spent the evening together. But as morning came, they both found that it was unfortunately time for her to depart. I'm sorry, I don't know how to tell you this, but after today I must leave. But why? What reason do you have to go? As she brushed back her ear for the first time since their meeting, the young shoemaker finally noticed that her ears were long and pointed, and he looked on in surprise because even then, while the Fae were known about, they weren't often seen, or not as often as they were before. Unfortunately, I am a Christmas elf. I am only able to come here to this world once a year to check in on the children, to see that the world is still at peace. Then can you not return next year? I can, but could you truly wait a year without me? I could, and more than willing to. Any sacrifice would still be a blessing to be able to see you again. Then, for your gratitude, for your time, for your efforts, for all you have done for me, I give you this bell. Should you wish to see me before the year is up, then simply ring it. Simply ring it. Now, the rules for such gifts are heavy. Most often, one cannot simply give a gift and use it and have it remain. Those are the rules. Now, as any man of the time would know, he'd know those rules. So the man didn't ring the bell. The young shoemaker kept the bell safe where no one could touch it, where no one could see it, where it would never ring. The next year, the young elf came, but this time she was not alone. She brought with her a bouncing baby boy. And for those of you parents, yes, it was their son. They shared a lovely evening together. They shared another year. Now, she didn't give him another bell. These gifts are not to be taken lightly. And so, the time that she spent with him was maybe 12 days. Because there are 12 days up until Christmas where a Christmas elf can stay and watch and talk and chat and be amongst people. But it wasn't so easy for him. It was hard to see her because he knew that with each day he'd have to say goodbye. But throughout the year, he held in his heart the chance to see her one last time. One more time. And so, the Christmas spirit was always with him. He was always filled with generosity and love for his fellow man. Now, as would happen, eventually the child grew up, just like his father had. I'm always so happy to see you, and it looks like you've brought your own partner this time. I hope that both of you will be as happy as your mother and I have been. I am sure they will be. After all, they've known each other since they were children. Though you seem tired. Unfortunately, I am. Unlike you, I age. It's been a near 25 Christmases that we've spent together, my dear. And while I am not so old, I do fear that this may be my last Christmas. As the night went on, the old shoemaker was seen to be more and more tired. It wasn't his fault. Some people age quicker. But he was happy. He had the woman he loved by his side. And he had his children. That night, as they were near laying down to bed, the woman finally asked her husband, the old shoemaker, "Why, in all this time, have you not used the bell?" because I know that should I, there would be a chance that I might never see you again. And for all that it is worth to see you every single moment, the idea of not seeing you ever again completely terrifies me. You really think that I would give such a gift only to take it away? Then for all you have done for me, for giving me these shoes, for giving me our children, for giving me a life full of love, and acting towards others with a loving compassion that cannot be equaled. Let me grant you one last gift. Let me stay with you through Christmas Day. Now, for Christmas elves, it's a taboo to stay beyond Christmas. But for her, it was not a sacrifice. It was a statement. As the sun rose Christmas Day, the old shoemaker passed away. And for the first time in their entire time knowing each other, the Christmas elf cried. But she didn't cry because she was sad that he had died. She cried because she would never see him again. Now, some of you out there might be sad. You might be crying. But this is the extent of love that they had for each other. Christmas isn't about the gifts that you give or the gifts you receive. Christmas is about the love you share. And that's both the love that you get by giving gifts and the love that you share by giving those gifts. It's not even about the gifts. It's about loving someone enough to say Merry Christmas. So to all of you out there watching this on Christmas Day or any other time, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, any other celebration that happens around this time of year. Because in the darkest night, you might feel alone, but you're not. You're cared for and you are loved. And I'm sure some of you out there are thinking, but I'm not loved. I'm alone. And the only reason I know that is because I deal with that on a daily basis. But you are loved. Because I'm here. I love you because you exist. I love you because you deserve to be loved. I hope everyone has a happy holidays. And I hope that if you enjoyed this little story, please watch the chapters that Caro recently has released. And please also check out the Celestial Embers Chronicles. Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and don't forget that the real spirit of Christmas is loving the people around you. And I have one last thing to say. You're all important. even if you sometimes think you aren't. You are. And I know. Bye for now. And again, happy holidays, everyone.